once hid in a storage room for 10 minutes. Bottles and napkins all around me. I told my coworker I was doing him a favor, taking over as runner, so he didn't have to. I was doing anyone a favor. I just needed to take a minute to breathe and collect myself. That night was chaos from the start. I worked at a small bar that turned into a dance club at night. What that means is that there was right next to me a DJ behind the bar, and everything was packed. It was loud, it was hectic, it was chaotic. It was a cool bar though, just really stressful to work in. Everything came at me at the same volume. I really couldn't pick out one voice from the other. Everything was kind of the same loudness. So customers came to me to order, and I had to ask them to repeat themselves over and over, and still I sometimes got it wrong. I just felt so stupid and so useless in these moments. To get out of that situation, I took over the runner's job. That means restocking and regular, storage room trips. I told my coworker he can earn some tips for the half hour that he will step in, and he took it gladly. So I presented it as like a favor. I wasn't supposed to do that. My boss explicitly wanted me behind the bar. He wanted me connecting with people. So that was my job. That was what I was hired for, and I stepped away from it anyway. I wasn't doing anybody a favor but myself, because I needed to take a break. I needed to have like a moment where I could breathe and collect myself. When I was standing there in the storage room in the basement, surrounded by bottles, I could still hear faintly from the distance, from above, the music coming down, just the bass. But I had my moment of silence and I could collect myself. And part of me said to myself, like, yeah, I got this. I will just power through. I will go out there and continue my shift. The other part wanted to just pack my shit and leave, go home, shower, and go to sleep. In the end, I didn't leave because I did not want to let my colleagues down. They would have been one person short. And I know firsthand how shitty that is. What I did was I just texted my girlfriend, now wife, because I needed to reach out to somebody. So why I am even there doing a job that's clearly not for me? Well, it's because of a regular customer from a coffee shop I was working at. He was about to open a new bar, and he told me that over the month that he was coming, he saw me handle stressful situations. And he told me that he really liked that I kept my calm, I kept smiling, I kept doing small talk with the customers, and I never forgot tiny details from the orders. Like small tweaks from whoever ordered, even though it was super full. And that was something that impressed him. He wanted me to be there. He wanted me on his team for the new bar he was opening. And I told him, basically the first thing I told him was like, well, I really don't drink alcohol. I never worked as a bartender. I never made cocktails. And I know nothing about spirits. For him, that didn't matter, because he told me recipes you can learn. That's something you just, you learn how to make a cocktail. That's something you can learn. What you can't learn is people skills, at least not that fast. And anything that's like super specific about spirits, I can just ask a colleague. No big deal. I ended up taking the job. And I had that job for over a year, only on the weekends, but always after my day job, my shift at the coffee shop. I kind of had like 3 hours between these two. So I grabbed a quick dinner and went off to the bar into this chaotic, loud, hectic environment. I just didn't just grab the job out of novelty or, obviously I also grabbed it because it meant extra money. And I could use that like everybody, but especially because I had like an extra long distance relationship with my then girlfriend and now wife, because I was in Germany and she was in Mexico. Some extra money was needed. But the problem throughout the year was not really the discomfort of extra hours after the first job or all of that. The whole year, I was focusing on what I couldn't do, what I was bad at, and not really what the customer saw and what he actually hired me to do. It took me 7, almost 8 years to actually understand what that customer saw in me. He saw it in about 30 seconds and said it straight to my face. I just didn't believe it. I still think about that. How long it took me to believe something about myself that he already knew. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'm Johannes. See you in the next video.